According to England Coach with me, they haven't won at home since late January. Over the season, they've won 9 games away, only 5 out of 18 here. Why are they struggling at Hillsborough?
I think it's the way that you approach the game as an away team. It's easier to sit back a little bit. You can catch teams on the counter-attack, and you've got that time to be able to come back as well. So I think as the home team, the impetus is more on you to dictate the game. So I think that's why they're struggling. Obviously, that needs to change. The atmosphere, as you can hear, is absolutely electric. So if this doesn't get the players up for it, then nothing will, quite frankly.
It really is hairs on the back of the neck stuff here at Hillsborough. The Sheffield United players in their red and white stripes just going across to the West Stand away to our left, Leppings Lane end, and taking the applause of the travelling Blades fans. And the top tier there, and away to our right-hand side, most of the volume coming from the Kop. Sheffield Wednesday in their blue and white striped shirts, and they've lost the toss. They've been turned around, so they will be kicking towards the Kop in this first half. Let me run through the two teams again for you. Wednesday, Beadle in goal, Iorfa, Hikwi, Max Lowe and Hatsuse, Shea, Charles and Bannon, Patterson, Windus and Gassama and Smith. For the Blades, Cooper in goal, Suriki, Akmadojic, Robinson and Burrows, Chowdhury and Peck, Britton, Diaz, Brewster and Harmer and Campbell. Referee Andrew Kitchen, who Blades fans might remember officiated the recent home defeat to Hull. Well, it has been buzzing for the last 3.5, 4 hours around Hillsborough. This, far and away, the most anticipated game of the season. It is a fixture where Wednesday are due a win, and few victories over the Blades could have such far-reaching potential ramifications as one today. United's last match against Yorkshire opposition ended in a defeat that took the title away from their grasp. But win here, and they're back level on points at the top. Here's the Sheffield derby. It's time to steel yourself. We're underway. United kicking from right to left. Harmer hooking a long ball forward, which will be watched out of play by Hatsuse. Damage the throw, which will be taken on the Sheffield Wednesday left. I think the perceived wisdom in the press box was that this potentially could even be first goal win, certainly likely to be a low-scoring encounter. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I do, although what I will say is, for example, if it was Sheffield United to go 1-0 up, we know that the potential for Wednesday to come back into the game is so big. And I know Blades, I think it's 9 1-0 wins they've got this season. But I don't see one goal for Sheffield United being enough. I really don't. I think it's 20 points now that Sheffield Wednesday have won from losing position. So it would be a big old ask for Sheffield United to hang on to a lead.
Well, Wednesday have a throw down towards the corner flag that they're attacking. First opportunity for those in blue and white to make their way inside the penalty area. Gassama unmarked on the edge of the box. If the ball is flicked out in his general direction, it's hurled in towards Iorfa. It hit Akmadojic, then driven in. And the first corner of the afternoon goes Sheffield Wednesday's way. They've had a good start.
Yeah, they haven't. That's what you want at home when the atmosphere is electric as it is anyway. You don't have to do too much to get the fans on their feet, but brilliant start by Wednesday.
And the boos that you can hear, because one of the United players is down inside the penalty area, and the medical staff are going over there. And this will just give the Blades an opportunity to consider the start that they've made. The opening 90 seconds, it's been all Wednesday.
It's not going to help though, is it? Because I imagine because the physios have come on now, well, they might.
Yes, Suriki's going to have to leave the field.
Go off, so they're a player down.
Without having had particularly significant treatment either. So Suriki leaves the field, the obligatory 30 seconds. And the Blades down to 10 men as they defend this corner. Shea Charles waiting on the edge of the D. 6 ahead of him inside the penalty area, and the referee blows his whistle before the ball is in play because he's seen some pushing and shoving going on. Patterson not too far away from the heat of the battle there. And Hamza Chowdhury is the player being spoken to by referee Kitchen. And both sides are lining up with 5 or 6 around the penalty spot. I mean, literally a big enough blanket. You're taking out 2/3 of the players on the pitch. In comes the corner, headed high up in the air, not the best header, and then volleyed away by Harmer. And straight out of play for a throw as Ihikwe that got his head to it initially. And Harmer clears now for a Sheffield Wednesday throw, and still the pressure is unrelenting as the Owls look for the win. It will be their 7th in their last 9 league games. And it would also be a victory that would take them back within 3 points of the top 6. They'll be up to 9th if they can win this today. And the throw which will be taken by Patterson, launched inside the penalty area. Didn't really get the purchase on it that he wanted, and it's headed away out as far as Bannon. And the blonde-haired Scotsman helping it on. Shea Charles giving chase, and it's cleared by Brewster inside his own penalty area, straight out of play for another throw. Sheffield United haven't been able to get a kick in the opening 4 minutes at 0-0.
No, and they look nervy when they've got the opportunity to clear like that. He makes a hash of it, doesn't he, Brewster? Instead of going upfield, it goes out level with the 18-yard box.
And Patterson spinning another long throw inside the penalty area. Again, no flick on forthcoming. Patterson then comes to meet the next one. Chowdhury volleys it clear from the edge of his own penalty area. Out as far as Max Lowe. Bannon then chipping it over the top, and space. So Ricky a little bit slow in getting out towards Smith over on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Still all Wednesday inside the opening 5 minutes here at Hillsborough. Windus with a shot. That's deflected, and Cooper's done well. He scampered across and got a right hand to it to stop it going out of play for a corner. Only now will the Blades be able to draw breath after a nervy opening 5 minutes.
Yeah, he does really well there, Cooper, but it's worrying for me the way that Windus there on the apex of the box. He's got time. He almost does a full 360. He looks up, he's got time to pick a pass. It's only because he takes that extra touch that the Blades defenders get anywhere near him, and can't be defending like that around the 18-yard boxes for Sheffield United. You're going to pay for that sooner rather than later.
Steel City Derby here on Talksport 2, and we'll keep you up to date with the Old Firm Derby as well, where Rangers are already ahead with Raskan's 4th minute goal. Celtic 0, Rangers 1. There's a shove on the advancing Patterson by a combination of Sariki and there's another Blades defender who's in there as well. I think it might have been Robinson. And a free kick has been given Sheffield Wednesday's way. This is 10 yards outside the penalty area left of centre. Patterson, by his own admission these days, not the quickest, but it's certainly timed his run to perfection there. And the converging Blades defenders stopped him. And a sandwich outside the penalty area, giving a free kick Sheffield Wednesday's way. Danny Rowe will be thrilled with the start that his team have made. Just nothing to show for it so far. The Blades on the back foot. Hatsuse standing over this free kick. Windus, hands on hips, is in there. Patterson, Smith, Iorfa, Ihikwe the deepest of the lot. Hatsuse tries to tease this inside the box. There is a 2-man wall in case the Japanese is going to shoot. Cooper's got a good view of what's going on. It's a terrible delivery. He's overhit it, trying to curve it towards the far post for an Ihikwe header back across the face of the 6-yard box, but he hit it probably 30% too hard. Straight out of play, and it's a goal kick to Sheffield United. 0-0 here on Talksport 2.
Yeah, it was awful, and it's such a shame for Wednesday because they've had such a brilliant start. They've done everything except put the ball in the back of the net. Sheffield United have been completely on the back foot, and that was a great opportunity to get a shot on goal, and completely wasted by the lack of quality in the free kick.
Cooper sends a long ball for Brenton Diaz, heading it back in field. Brewster, who's playing at 10, will try to get to that. He's got Campbell ahead of him, and they have played with Brenton Diaz on the right and Harmer on the left. So a change of flank for Brenton Diaz, with Jesher and Raksaki having played on the right-hand side the other night against Bristol City. Ball out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Blades' right as they edge forward down the touchline with Sariki. Flick infield from Campbell, cleared by Iorfa. Now it's back 4. Very tight, only about 6 or 7 yards between the four of them. They got the ball back for Beadle. His long clearance ends up at the feet of Hatsuse. From him to Gassama. An opportunity to lay it back for Barry Bannon. So much experience in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt. Barry Bannon, this 441st game for the club. It's only his 5th Steel City derby, and he's yet to win one. It's a better ball in. Smith!
What a save.
It's Cooper who has produced the moment of the match. Flying header from Smith. And Cooper leaning back instinctively, threw up a right hand and tipped it over the bar towards the cop for a corner.
Well, it's a fantastic ball in this time from Hatsuse. Michael Smith, I love it. The determination to back the defender out of the way, get to the ball, and he's only stopped by what is an incredible save by Cooper.
Got 4 goals against the Blades in his career. Well, very nearly the 5th. Barring an outstanding save. You won't see a better save than that today. The corner comes in, and it's Shea Charles' delivery that is headed, they thought, via a deflection out of play, but a goal kick has been given. Well, Cooper's had a really good season since he arrived from Plymouth back in August. He's kept clean sheets in more than half of his appearances for the Blades so far. And that probably as good a save as he's made in a Sheffield United shirt to date. We've played 9.5 minutes here on Talksport 2. Wednesday 0, United 0 in the Sheffield derby, but it's one-way traffic at the moment. All Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, they're all at 6s and 7s, Sheffield United, and it is credit to Wednesday. They've been brilliant. The energy, but obviously the quality on the ball as well. Every 50-50, it's not 50-50. Sheffield Wednesday just look on the front foot, more determined to win the ball, and in the final third, aside from that Hatsuse free kick that was really poor, they've been good in the final third and putting Sheffield United under so much pressure.
Shea Charles able to bring the ball down in the midfield. He's played that very neatly. Works it out towards his right-hand side for Ayor. For now, Gassama. He's coming in off the right-hand touchline, laying it off for Windus. Right-footed flick ball in from him. Sariki not too sure who was where. He knew that he couldn't see Smith, and as a result, he just heads the ball away and out for another corner, which is Wednesday's 3rd.
And Sheffield United need to get a hold of what's happening with Windass. It's twice now that he's just drifted off at the edge of the box and had too much time, in my opinion.
Bannon has come across to take this latest corner, and there's again so much jockeying for position as Sheffield United try and stop the quartet of Owls players stationed by the penalty spot from making their runs into the edge of the 6-yard box. In it comes now to Hickworth that met it. It's off balance by the time it hit his head, and it's just sailed straight off his head, looped up over the bar and out of play for a goal kick. Chris Wilder will be cutting quite a frustrated figure, I think, down on the edge of the technical area at the moment. He's standing there with his arms folded across his chest. He'll be hoping that this gets much better pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I think he'll be upset with some of the defending that we've seen in a few times from the corner. Hickway there gets free, and Windass has done the same, and that big bunch up almost on the penalty spot. Sheffield United are really struggling to deal with it, and every time there's a corner, there's a Sheffield Wednesday player free.
You're listening to the EFL Championship. It's live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app. Get rewards points. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. We're 11 minutes in. Opportunity for Sheffield United to bring the ball forward down the far touchline. It was Ahmedhodzic that travelled with it, and he has won a throw, which Femi Sariki is going to take. He made his first league start for 3 months on Tuesday. This only his 5th start of the season. He's got the ball in his hands now. Throws it infield towards Sidney Peck. Work back to Ahmedhodzic. Robinson comes outside the penalty area, waiting for the ball from Cooper, but Cooper will take a touch and turn the other way. Ahmedhodzic back full for Sariki. Now Peck getting it through the midfield. Harmer in a more central area. Lovely little nutmeg there of Shea Charles. Gassama goes shoulder to shoulder. He can't get the ball back off him. Charles will turn it away, down towards the corner flag. Where we were just waiting to see if it was going to drift out of play for a corner. It wasn't, so The ball that was fired in by Brayton Diaz and goes out of play for a throw, which will be taken down by the corner flag by Sheffield United.
By far their best passage of play. Sheffield United do really well. Sheffield Wednesday are high, but they managed to get past the press. There's mentioned a little bit of skill in there from Harmer as well, and then the strength to knock Gassama off the ball shoulder to shoulder.
Pegs inside the 6-yard box. There are 4 more Sheffield United players in the penalty area, including Rian Brewster right on the edge of the box. Ahmedhodzic is the one that is supplying plenty of movement, trying to draw defenders out of position. And he's made his way outside the box now, and Burrows has gone forward. And just a brief break in play as the referee is called over to this near touchline by the 4th official, Josh Smith. There's a slight problem in the communication system, and something a little bit more sinister than that. Play's going to continue though, and it's going to be a throw which will be taken on the Blades' right-hand side. Launched in towards the near post. Iorfa's missed his header. Brayton Diaz will try and bring it down, but Bannon can get it away. Chowdhury with an acrobatic scissor kick inside the penalty area. That one headed clear. And out for another Sheffield United throw, which Burrows will retrieve and then just throw the ball behind him so that Jack Robinson can launch another long one inside the box. And he kicks the existing match ball away. He then picks up another one from on top of one of the blue cones that's stationed just by the side of the pitch. 3-pace runner. Good long throw inside the penalty area. Headed away by Iorfa. Second ball won by Gassama on the edge of the box. It came out towards Harmer, who then tried to drill it down towards the left-hand side, but behind Chowdhury. And it's gone out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Wednesday right. 15 minutes of race by, 0-0 here in the Still City Derby on Talksport 2. If it finishes this way, Wednesday would go up 1 place to 11th. Sheffield United would be 3rd. Their goal difference significantly inferior to the 2 teams above them. I mean, Leeds is in the 50s, Burnley's in the 40s, Sheffield United's 24. So they're effectively half a point adrift because of goal difference of the 2 above them as well. So starting the day a point behind Burnley, but a draw will not see them make any progress up the table, and they'll be back out of the automatic promotion positions in what is going to be a very tight promotion battle. Leeds have got Bristol City, Middlesbrough and 6 bottom half teams left to play. Burnley the toughest running of those 3. They've got 5 of the top 11 left to play, only 3 from the bottom half. Blades have 2 more matches against the top 8. They've got Coventry at home, Burnley away, everything else against bottom half teams. Got a free kick here, near halfway. Burrows sends it in. First contact, not the best from Patterson. Then Ihikwe's header, and then Patterson judging the bounce of the ball much better than the Sheffield United player. Sariki came to meet it. The ball was there to be won. Sariki's ended up on the deck. Patterson throwing himself in really bravely. I don't think a free kick has been given against him. But his bravery there is being applauded as he goes to pick up the loose ball from in front of the Sheffield Wednesday fans. Everyone could see what was coming there for a moment as it bounced, and there was almost a collective bracing from the supporters for the collision that was inevitable. But I'm glad to say Sariki's back on his feet, and you'd never know Patterson was even in a challenge in the first place.
Exactly, he was straight back up, strutting away, wasn't he? And rightly so, he's put himself in the danger area. Definitely not a foul.
That was by Bannon, and then Ahmedhodzic, having gone down, squares up to Patterson, who, once a free kick had been given, kicked the ball at Ahmedhodzic when he was down on the deck. I'm not sure whether it hit him on the back or on the back of the head, but he was straight up on his feet and reacting very angrily to Callum Patterson. And adrenaline coursing through his veins, as we mentioned after that legitimate challenge about 30 seconds before that. That was a little bit too over-exuberant. And he's going to be called over here by the referee, Andrew Kitchen.
Yeah, and look, the temperature didn't need rising at all in the stadium, but it's certainly gone up a notch after those couple of challenges. And you've got to walk the balance, and for Pattinson, there's no need to do it. He's got himself on a yellow card now. You're walking a tightrope for the rest of the game. Ahmedhodzic, again, his reaction isn't the best. You can sort of understand why, though, and he's on a yellow card as well. So both of those players really have put themselves in a position that they didn't really need to be in.
I think it was Britain Diaz, actually, that was shown the yellow card for United. I don't know whether that was for something that happened afterwards. It must have been. But Patterson is cautioned. 18 minutes in, 0-0. And a free kick to Sheffield United that Ahmedhodzic is going to have to take from roughly the same postcode as where the initial infringement happened. And he's been walked back about 10-15 yards or so. It's feisty. You would have expected nothing less. Hamza Chowdhury at the back for Sheffield United. Still goals, but only thanks to an outstanding save from Cooper to deny Smith. Saricki teasing one down the line. Really good run here from Britain Diaz. He's got Campbell in the middle. He's gone for goal. Cross-come shot he's claiming deflected away. I think he's got a point. And although the initial decision was goal kick, the assistant referee must have said something to the referee immediately, because he's changed his mind and given the corner, and I'm sure that's the right decision. Yeah, it is the right decision, but initially I think Brereton Diaz is fortunate. I like the way that he starts his run. He checks back in, then goes down that right-hand side, but it's two things. He doesn't catch the ball right, he scuffs it, and for me, I know full well he's going for goal, and Tyrese Campbell is livid, because that's just a pass across the box for a tap-in, and wants to take it all on himself, so I think they're fortunate to get away with that, Sheffield United. Well, Wednesday they've had 3 corners. This is United's first, 0-0, with 20 minutes gone here on Talksport 2. Ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box is a very poor delivery. Hatsuse can easily sweep it clear. Next one back in from Burrows, equally poor. No chance of finding Harmer. That one's cleared as well, but Saricki will get his foot on it inside the centre circle. Peck works it down towards Burrows. Harmer down the line for his continued run. And across comes Gassama and puts it out of play for a United throw. And Robinson again will come across to take it. Well, the first 10 minutes certainly belong to Wednesday without a shadow of a doubt. Now, the next 10 minutes are much more even, and it's United slowly warming to their task now. Yeah, and I think these long throws as well is really dangerous from those, but they're certainly not on top, Sheffield United. They're just finding their way back into the game. Robinson to launch another long throw inside the penalty area. It's headed away by Smith. Brought down by Campbell and wide as he snatched at the shot and drilled it through the 6-yard box. Cross-come shot that was inviting a touch from Brewster, but he couldn't get there. And it's watched wide by Beadle, out of play for a goal kick. 21 gone. Still 1-0 to Rangers in the Old Firm game, and this one 0-0 between Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United. Don't forget, coming up later over on Talksport, Newcastle hoping for their first piece of major silverware since 1969, their first piece of domestic silverware since 1955. Is this the day? We'll find out together. They play Liverpool at Wembley. And it's live on Talksport. The build-up at 3 for a 4:30 kickoff in the Carabao Cup final. That's over on Talksport. Here on 2, it's 0-0 in the Steel City Derby. A game that has been short of goals in recent times. The Owls haven't scored in their last 4 games against the Blades, and 3 of those have ended 0-0. Chris O'Grady, the last man that scored a winner for Wednesday in this fixture, and that was here back in 2012. Wednesday working the ball down to this near touchline, but away from Iorfa, who scampered after it and stretched out one of those long legs. Couldn't quite keep it in. And it's out for a throw that Harrison Burrows will take for Sheffield United. In fact, he's going to leave it for Robinson, and this one will be a long one down the line. And he's in a left-back position near the edge of his own penalty area, but he'll still take a run up. And he's got such a prodigious throw, 40 yards without blinking an eye. And Wednesday win it back. Robinson stumbling as he tries to stop Gassama finding his way forward, and maybe a little fortunate that the assistant referee in front of us has found in his favour. It's a free kick for a little ankle tap from Gassama on Robinson, which the Sheffield United man will take. Fortunate for that, unfortunate they didn't get caught out worse really, because the fact that Robinson comes across, Harrison Burrows then has got to
fill in for his centre-half, which he doesn't do very well. Gets caught in the transition, so they're fortunate to get that free kick, Blades.
Good challenge coming in from Ihikwe. Harmer picks up the loose ball. Brewster couldn't quite get a touch just to flick it onto the advancing Sariki to his right. Patterson is then caught by Harmer. The referee says play on. That could be retribution for the earlier one, when the ball was kicked against the head of a prostate Sheffield United player. He's still down injured, Callum Patterson, and that was naughty from Harmer. Here's Iorfa. Harmer might get himself a yellow card when play stops. The referee playing a decent advantage. Charles, down for Gassama. Yarding from the right-hand touchline on the edge of the penalty area. Gassama just trying to commit Burrows. The ball slowed down. It's slower than walking pace. Just a couple of drops of the shoulder. He was trying to commit his man. Lowe then works it out towards Hatsuse. Ball in from him, and Smith's header from appreciably wide of the near post goes wide and out of play for a goal kick. And now Harmer will be called over by Andrew Kitchen, and if he escapes a yellow card here, I think he's really lucky.
Yeah, I agree. And Lindas and Smith are going over, I think, just to try and make their case from a Sheffield Wednesday perspective. But you're totally right, Jim. How he's got away with that, not being cautioned, I do not know.
Well, he's had 11 yellow cards this season, and I would have thought that was certainly one that came into the premeditated category. Well, the referees decided otherwise. Now Sheffield United will play out from the back, with the ball going into the feet of Hamza Chowdhury, who's one of several in the Sheffield United squad on loan, with the likes of Holding and Raksaki and Britton Diaz. Gilchrist and Clark also on loan at the club at the moment as well. Is Burrows, plays it back for Robinson.
I think they've figured out the press now, Sheffield United, and changing between whether it be Chowdhury or Peck dropping in. They're managing to get out of that press a little bit more freely now.
So Robinson just rolling it across. There's a perfect illustration that Ahmedhodzic can then bring it forward. It's cleared back by Hatsuse. Smith chesting it down. Charles coming forward and has used his arm. And it's a free kick to Sheffield United inside the centre circle. There's another decision that the Wednesday fans are a little bit aggrieved about. There will be a free kick to the Blades right in the middle of the pitch. 25 gone. 0-0. A possession marginally in Wednesday's favour over the game as a whole. The attempts on goal 7-3 to Wednesday, and they have had the only one on target so far, which was that Smith diving header, which was such brilliantly saved. Ahmedhodzic back for Cooper. Cooper to Jack Robinson. Forward from Robinson in towards Peck. Balance sliding in. Peck was able to maintain possession after a fashion. Robinson then knocks it away. Iorfa can pick that one up and playing it right back again today, Dominic Iorfa. Now Charles turning into trouble rather than away from it. And Burrows and Harmer, and now Brewster. He's got Sariki to his right-hand side, and he's got so much space to work with. Wednesday have lost their defensive shape. Hatsusi's come in really narrow. So Patterson goes out there. Sariki scampers past him. Still he goes and fires it eventually into the side netting via a deflection.
That's been threatening in terms of that switch of play for me. There's been times where Sariki's got on that right-hand side, but the next ball in, or the first ball rather, into that midfield hasn't quite worked. We just saw it sort of a few minutes earlier with the initial ball into Brewster. Wasn't good enough, so he couldn't turn out, but they finally find it, Sheffield United. Sariki initially does well. That little touch, though, when he goes into the box, is too big, and he makes something of it, to be fair, but in an ideal world, that touch just needs to be a little bit tighter, and then he's got more decisions to make.
Second Sheffield United corner. Ahmedhodzic standing on the penalty spot. Ihikwe's arms all over him. The ball is swung in deeper. Robinson going up for it. Volley back in by Campbell, which took a deflection that spun it up towards the far post. Patterson cleared that one before it went over the line. Robinson then thought he was fouled on the edge of the D. Wednesday get it away to Gassama, but Chowdhury wins it back. And Peck, after a good touch from Britton Diaz, can work it out towards the right-hand side. Smith gave Britton Diaz a little push off the ball there. This might not end 11 against 11. Peck firing a ball in. Low heads that one clear. Against his old club. Didn't play a Sheffield derby for United. Playing in one against his former employer here. There have been a couple of dozen men down the years that have played for both of these clubs in derbies, including Lee Bromby, who I think I'm right saying the only man to have played more than 100 games on both sides of the Sheffield divide. Hamza Chowdhury bringing it forward for United. Harmer can turn and he can release Campbell. Campbell couldn't quite get there ahead of Beadle. Saw the danger, rushed off his line and was able to gather at the feet of Campbell just on the edge of the box.
So close, wasn't it? Just a little bit too much on that pass from Harmer. I don't think that Campbell could have gone any earlier, would have found himself offside, but brilliant from the Wednesday goalkeeper Beadle, because he's on his front foot ready to come and collect. He's not stuck to his line, and it's really good goalkeeping.
Now he's won 4 caps for the England under-21s this season, James Beadle. And he's loan from Brighton. Another outstanding campaign from him. Massive future ahead of him. Here's Barry Bannon. Now towards Hatsuse. Turn inside from that left-hand touchline. Exchanging passes with Bannon again, and then just threading it forward for Josh Windus. Long ball over the top from him. Really well judged, and a swirling breeze by Smith. But having brought it down, he got there ahead of Ahmedoljic. The easy ball out towards Gassama was poorly executed. And that sails straight out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Sheffield United left.
Just watching Danny roll there, he's saying calm down, and Smith, he does ever so well. He does the hardest bit in terms of bringing the ball down under pressure, the one that's looped into him. And then he just panics, I think, a little bit with the ball. He's so quick to get rid of it, where he's got more time than he thinks.
Harrison Burrows down the line. Hikui's going to get to that first, but there was a push by Gassama once the ball had gone, and another free kick to Sheffield United. Still 0-0. We've played half an hour here. Wednesday with the second worst home form in the division, despite the fact they're in the top half of the table. Played 18 games here and have won 5. They've lost 6. United, in terms of points per game, the best away form in the division. Robinson for the Blades. Back to Peck. Peck behind square for Anel Ahmedoljic. And now Cooper in his fluorescent orange gets the ball, drives it forward out to the right-hand side for Britton Diaz. Ball off the top of his head. Peck then, they're really strong. He just bustles Bannon to the ground, and the free kick's gone Wednesday's way, 6 yards inside their own half.
I'm just watching Hamza Chowdhury because he's absolutely livid, because there was an opportunity to play into Sidney Peck, because Hamza Chowdhury's being really clever. He's the one that's dropping in almost to make 3 centre-halves. He's opening up the channel for Peck, and he was in acres of space in the middle of the park, and that's what he was saying to Robinson and his goalkeeper, I think.
Burrows volleys another long diagonal away. And Harmer does well to charge Iorfa's ball down, but only at the expense of a throw. Season that's been in such stark contrast to last year for Sheffield Wednesday. They spent nearly all of the last campaign in the bottom 3. They won the last 3 games to finish 3 points clear of relegation, and stayed up at Birmingham City's expense. And they've got an opportunity now to finish in the top 10 of the Championship for the first time in 8 years. I think there'll be a slight sense of disappointment if they don't manage that. That wasn't necessarily the perspective at the beginning of the season, but it's been a better campaign than many anticipated.
I think where they were when Danny Roll came in, I think they 3 points from the first 11 games in, I think it was October that he was appointed. So incredible turnaround, one to keep them up, and as you say, the progression is probably ahead of schedule, what you would say in terms of where they are now, but context is everything. Now you're there, you want to keep pushing on and you want to make those playoff places.
Yeah, he's not been here quite 18 months yet, but when you consider that 3 points from 11 games, if you'd said, well, in 18 months time you'll have been in charge for 80 games and you'll have won more than you've lost, and you'll be in the top half of the division, undoubtedly he would have taken that. Clearly part of the problem is going to be retaining his services. Could be a big summer for Sheffield Wednesday in that regard, as Burrows wins another free kick. It has been quite stop-start this game. No real surprise. I think that was going to be widely anticipated, that there'd be the odd niggling foul going on. We haven't been disappointed. And here's Chowdhury. Chowdhury back for Harmer. Now Gus Harmer turning again down towards Chowdhury. Chowdhury through the midfield. Peck has been called there by Charles. It's taking in turns to kick each other at the moment.
Yes, good actually little passage of play though with Harmer and Chowdhury. They were just being quite clever, playing the ball between each other, 1-2 to draw someone out, which they did. Ball into Siddy Peck. He has to turn out though on his back foot and play Sariki, who is in acres of space on the right hand side. He turns back in. That's when the foul gets made.
Chowdhury fighting pressure from Windus, laying it back for Robinson. Ahmedhodzic getting it forward away from Smith. That creates a bit of space for Brewster. Slid down the line for Brereton Diaz. First time ball inside the penalty area, and Brewster coming onto it. Here's a header which was very difficult to control because he was running full pelt towards the cross, and he's just headed it straight into the lower tier of the West Stand away to our left-hand side.
Difficult one for him, but I think what will be more disappointing from a Sheffield United perspective there is Campbell, that he doesn't really gamble and drive to get in the box, because Brereton Diaz, all he can really do at that point is find Brewster, whereas Campbell, he was further forward anyway than Brewster, so he should have been really driving into the box, so you could have just slid that one right across the 6-yard box for a tap-in.
Wednesday goal kick, and they're determined to play out from the back. It's only when he goes out towards Max Lowe that there's any intensity in the press from Brewster. He's done well to win it back, but when the offside flag comes up, I think against Campbell, the ricochet firstly off Brewster towards Campbell, and he couldn't get himself back onside quickly enough. So now a free kick for the offside just outside the penalty area. 10 to go to half-time here on Talksport 2. And real clear goal-scoring opportunities have very much been at a premium after that lively Wednesday start where they forced a really good early chance from the Smith header. Haven't seen too much goalmouth action at either end, and it has been a game that has followed what people were broadly predicting it would. All over the top from Brereton Diaz here. Campbell, who scored the only goal of the game the last time these two sides met. Under a little bit of pressure, Lowe then puts it out because he's gone down injured, and he wants a little bit of treatment, and he just passed the ball straight out of play. And his former teammates, to their credit, are showing concern as well as his current ones.
It's hard to see from here, but I think it could well be his calf, just because as soon as he went down, he pulled his sock down. So whether he feels he's pulled something or got a knock earlier in the game, but as you say, to the credit of some of the Sheffield United players that know him well, went over to him just to check on his well-being.
Max Lowe made 53 appearances for United, 4 being signed by Wednesday on a free last summer. He has been playing at centre-half recently. Interesting that they changed the formation the other day, and they have changed it in running at times in games this season, Wednesday, where they will play with a 4, but they can drop Shay Charles in from midfield in to be one of the centre halves. He's then given the licence to push forward, almost in the same way that United used to play when they went back into the Premier League under Chris Wilder with the 3 centre halves, and it would be Basham that was given the licence to push forward as an overlapping centre half. Don't quite play it in the same way, but the principle's not too dissimilar. Charles very much in the heart of midfield with 4 behind him here. But this doesn't look good for Max Lowe, Courtney.
No, it doesn't. I think the fact that he stayed down for such a prolonged period of time probably tells you that he's not going to carry on the game, and that's the last thing you want as a manager as well, in terms of you've worked towards this game, I say all week, but you'll have an eye on it from very early on, and yeah, to then have to change it, come away from that thought process can be difficult.
Yeah, they'll have had an eye on this since about last April, I think, when they knew they were coming back down. 1-0 to United when the two sides met earlier this season, back in November. 0-0 when the two sides last met here back in 2019, although 2 of the Wednesday players starting today started that game. Dom Iorfa and Barry Bannon as well. And Liam Palmer, who's on the bench, featured that day as well. There's been a greater turnover in terms of the Sheffield United playing staff than there has here over the last 5-6 years or so. He's still down receiving that treatment, Max Lowe, with 2 of the Sheffield Wednesday medical staff attending to him.
Valentin's ready, isn't he? Stripped off, ready to come on. Unfortunately, that'll be it for Max Lowe today.
And that will have ramifications probably for the rest of the season as well for Wednesday. He's making his way off, and Paul Valentin comes on to replace him. So you would guess that Valentin will come on at right back and Iorfa will move into the middle. And he will play alongside Ihikwe. I'll confirm that for you in a moment. But Max Lowe is off. Rangers 2 up at Celtic, with Diamande scoring the second goal. Raskin got the first. It would be a result that will cut the gap at the top to 13 points. The Rangers had one big win against Celtic already this season, and they're 2 up. East End of Glasgow today before half-time. Celtic 0, Rangers 2. Big ovation for Max Lowe, who is able to walk off the field unaided, but clearly in a lot of pain. And Paul Valentin comes on to replace him.
And as you say, unaided, but very gingerly walking away. Hopefully that isn't as serious as it potentially looks, and they've caught it in time. You know, these games you want to play on, and sometimes you do yourself a disservice and actually your team a disservice by playing on when you're not fully fit. So we wish him a quick recovery.
And they have made the change as we anticipated. So Valentin at right back, and it's now Iorfa on the right of the two centre-halves. Ihikwe moves to the left of the two centre-halves. So a defensive reshuffle with a slightly new role in 3 of those 4 positions across the back line. Only Hatsuse staying at left back. The ball just headed back past him now as we get back underway. And Ihikwe will turn it forward, but straight to Peck. Suriki. He's gone back, and Ahmedhodzic had to just go up through the gears pretty quickly because it wasn't a great ball. It was in behind him, but no chance that Windus was going to be able to get there first. Ball back to his goalkeeper. And then back out to Ahmedhodzic. Peck turning an intelligent pass forward. Britton Diaz can come into the central area. 2 to his left, including Harmer. Slips in, Burrows across the face of the 6-yard box. Sliding in was Campbell. And he must have been inches away from getting in touch to divert it past Beadle for 1-0.
He actually does really well with that, Harrison Burrows, because Harmer pretty much gets in his way and still manages to get the shot come cross. I probably hazard a guess it probably was a shot, to be honest, but Campbell doing the right thing, following it in anyway, but just can't get the right purchase on the shot to turn it goalwards.
He's got a little bit of history here, Harrison Burrows. His last game here, that famous playoff defeat for Peterborough when they won the first leg against Sheffield Wednesday in the League One playoffs 4-0, and then lost 5-1 in the second leg here and lost on penalties. I'll tell you, Adrian Durham is still salty about that night now. Don't, whatever you do, go on X right now and send him a message saying we've been talking about it. Please don't do that. Chowdhury. Down towards Robinson. And then back to his goalkeeper. He'll be able to be controlled by Cooper. Right-footed, takes a touch. Not a great touch, actually, and then his second wasn't great either. He just chipped it straight over Suriki and out of play for a throw that Hatsuse will take midway inside the Sheffield United half. Got 3.5 to go to half-time, but that injury to Max Lowe might add another 3 minutes to the probably 2 or 3 that we're already going to have anyway. It's Paul Valentin. Take it on down the touchline. Chowdhury with a really well-timed challenge comes in. He took a little bit of everything but won the ball cleanly and puts it out of play. Valentin back up on his feet. The player is in his second season here. Throwing the ball back for Charles, who's on loan from Southampton. And across the defensive line for Ihikwe and now out towards Hatsuse. In the 42nd minute here at Hillsborough, 0-0. Hatsuse controlling it, had Bannon to his right, gone back to the defensive contingent in behind him with Ihikwe. And Ihikwe just taking a touch, goes back for Beadle, and then Beadle smacks it out towards the far side, really drilled it at Hatsuse. Patterson did well to make something of the loose ball, and now an opportunity for Wednesday to bring it forward with Windus, out towards Paul Valentin. Charles waiting on the edge of the box. Gassama is in there as well. Valentine clipping it in. Smith making a run towards the far post. Heading it in, looking for Windus. Couldn't find him. Britton Diaz gets it away. Only as far as Hatsuse. Wide from him to Barry Bannon. Controlling it on his left foot. Stumbled as he crossed it. And it took a deflection, then headed by Windus. A looping header that Cooper could easily save. Still 0-0.
I'm wondering why Barry Bannon just didn't whip that one in first time. Takes the touch, slips. In terms of that ball then back in by Windass, I think he's trying to find a teammate with it, just maybe gets a little bit too much on it, which means Michael Cooper can come and collect. But the tempo of the game, I think because of the injury as well, has definitely slowed down. I mean, the first 10 minutes, it couldn't have carried on the whole half, let alone the whole 90 minutes like that. So I think it's a side for both teams just trying to get into half-time now.
Peck with a nice ball with the outside of the boot for the run of Burrows, who just got goal-sided Gassama for a moment. And Sheffield United work it more conservatively back through the midfield, and Harmer just justifying that pass selection to Burrows once the ball had been played back towards halfway. Just calming gestures with both hands and telling the young fullback that everything is under control here. Peck down towards Robinson. Fall from Robinson out towards Harrison Burrows. A little bit more space for Sidney Peck. He gets his right foot underneath it and clips it out towards Sariki. Now Sariki fouled by Hatsuse. And Femi Sariki has gone down and then smacks the floor with the palm of his right hand as if to demonstrate how much pain he's in. Hatsuse didn't even think it was a free kick. Certainly not a yellow card. He's walked away towards the edge of the penalty area. It will be a free kick that the Blades will take 5 yards in from the right-hand touchline. This is a chance to swing it inside the penalty area with the game about to go into first half stoppage time.
It isn't. It could be a wonderful time to score here for Sheffield United. Probably on the balance of play. Probably wouldn't necessarily deserve it, but you don't always get what you deserve in football.
They have scored first in each of their last 8 games, the Blades. And can they garner a first half advantage here? 4 minutes of added time. There could have been more. Harmer standing over the free kick. Wednesday's defensive line is by the penalty spot, and there are 7 in that. Sheffield United players intermingling with them. Peck makes a darting run. Valentine stands firm. In comes the delivery, looking for Peck. Chowdhury then with a left-footed volley from the edge of the penalty area that knocked Valentine off his feet. Blades retain possession but have to go deep. Back to their goalkeeper, and now Cooper will thrash it forward, but straight onto the head of Shea Charles in the midfield. Sariki comes across, heads that one away from Gassama, but straight out for a throw that will be taken by Wednesday. Now the offside flag's up against Gassama. But it's going to be a free kick to United instead. The ball went into the crowd, and a relatively elderly Sheffield Wednesday fan over on that far side, I would suggest, maybe he ought to know better. And he's thrown the ball at the nearest Sheffield United player with real pace. I'm sure with a smile on his face, though. Chowdhury's now been fouled, and it's a free kick to the Blades in a deeper position, midway inside their own half. 0-0, with 90 seconds of the 4 added minutes having been played. Robinson with the ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Britton Diaz going up for that. Now then Brewster chasing a lost cause, ended up wearing the clearance from a Hickway. He's deflected it straight out of play for a throw that will be taken by Wednesday. Well, no doubt that the first 10-15 minutes belonged to Sheffield Wednesday exclusively. And United were on the ropes at that stage. They haven't been since, and the little goalmouth action we've seen has been pretty much away to our left-hand side in front of the West Stand rather than away to our right in front of the Kop. And Sheffield United, I don't think, could lay claim to having been the better side on a consistent basis over the 45 minutes, but they have certainly worn to their task as the game's gone on. Yeah,
they have got better as the game's gone on. They've weathered that early storm, but almost, I think I mentioned it pre-match, not overly surprised. They're not a team like Leeds that go and completely blow teams away, Sheffield United. They find ways to win, they stay in games, so yeah, this was never going to be a situation where they were going to come here and win 3 or 4-0. It's about staying in the game to the latter stages and then using that quality in the forward line.
Now Robinson with a long throw inside the penalty area here. Valentine got his head to it. Bannon tried as well, and the referee's given a free kick Wednesday's way. I mean, just to reiterate that point, I mean, United over the course of this season have taken 28 more points on the field than Sheffield Wednesday, and yet they score fewer goals than the Owls have.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I mentioned it earlier, a lot of 1-0 wins in there as well. So, yeah, look, it's effective. There's more than one way to win a game, and I'm not being disrespectful when I say that they're not the sort of team that blows other teams away. That's just the way it is. Very different to the way that Leeds are working, as so are Burnley. I mean, that's a completely different end of the spectrum defensively, but yeah, they're all very different teams in that top three at the moment.
Yeah, what they have is more wins than any other side in the Championship ahead of this game in hand. 24 for Sheffield United, as I mentioned earlier. 6 wins in their last 8 league games and 5 away wins in a row, but this is the one that they really want to win. You can pick an isolated fixture to bring you 3 points, undoubtedly. It's this. 30 seconds of first half stoppage time remaining. Ball out of play for what's been given as a Wednesday throw, although United were absolutely convinced it was Brewster who's leading the protest, that it should have gone his way. So close to half-time, it's academic, I'm sure. Only 5 seconds left. And Hatsuse hasn't even got time to take the throw. I think the referee, sensing he might have got it wrong, blew his half-time whistle a couple of seconds early. And as was predicted by many, we've got through to the break without seeing the deadlock broken, Courtney.
Yeah, maybe a little bit surprised in terms of initially after the first 10 or so minutes, the way that Sheffield Wednesday started the game. So aggressive. It was all about them. Sheffield United had barely any possession. A massive save as well from Cooper in there, but it evened out, didn't it? As the half went on, Sheffield United, they managed the game. They adapted to the press. They dropped Hamza Chowdhury a little bit more to open that channel up into Sidney Peck, and they look a little bit more like the Sheffield United that we've been used to seeing this season. So, been impressed definitely with Sheffield Wednesday and their start, and they'll be disappointed. I think that they probably didn't get that goal while they really were in the ascendancy, but all to play for in the second half.
So what do Wednesday need to do more of to be able to redress the balance and get it back to how it was in the first 15 minutes of the game?
I think they've got to pick and choose their moments for the press, because what's happened is as the game's gone on, as they've expended more energy, they've still almost tried to do the same press, but not with the same energy, because you can't, it's impossible. So it's fine to sit back for 5, 10, 15 minutes and then change your engagement line. So you start, in a high press, you go back to a mid or a low, and then you go again. Because actually, that serves 2 purposes. You conserve a bit of energy, and also, you put a bit of doubt in the mind of Sheffield United. Because if you drop off and they think, we're not being pressed, we'll play out from the back a little bit more, maybe be a little bit more complacent. And then the next thing, right, on the next attack, we're going to go forward. Now, that normally goes on 2 things. It's normally one, the manager or the centre forwards, and that the trigger to press. So it'll be with Smith and Patterson normally on that, and Windass as well joining. So I think they just need to be a little bit more adaptable and when they press and when they don't, because as the game's gone on, Sheffield United have when they've pressed and Sheffield Wednesday haven't brought everyone up, and the midfield and the defence got a little bit too detached. The Blades have found a way to play through.
Now, this was something we touched on before the game about what a point is for Sheffield United in the context of this promotion race. Remember, they will be third if they draw this game behind Burnley on goal difference and 2 points adrift of Leeds. Are we going to see a situation where Chris Wilder decides that the Blades have to gamble in the second half, or ostensibly, if this ends 0-0, will he be quietly happy as he makes the short journey back across town?
I think maybe, but more for the context of the game. I don't think a point. I mean, don't get me wrong, if the old saying goes, if you can't win, don't lose. So you'd always prefer a point, but just looking the way that the games are going, you'd prefer the 3 points. That being said, and you mentioned earlier, Sheffield United and Burnley are still to play. So looking back at that, you think, well, if you're a Sheffield United player, you're saying, well, it's in our hands if we go and beat Burnley, but that's not a difficult, obviously, game in itself anyway. But they'll feel, right, well, it's in our hands. If we come away with the point today, then we are still in cruise control in terms of if we are in charge of our own destiny. So it's a difficult one. And maybe it's the centre forward in me. I think you go for it. I think you go for the 3 points. 2 reasons. One, because of what it does to the table. Also, the feeling within camp in terms of beating your rivals, going close to Leeds again. But maybe that's just me and the way I like to play football.
Yeah, I know exactly what I mean. I mean, my gut feeling is that if this ends 0-0, say, and they go to Burnley and get a draw, then they will finish above Burnley in the top 2 and will get automatic promotion. But I think it is really tight. They were to draw this and then lose at Burnley, I don't think they'll finish in the top 2. So if they win here, that just gives them a little bit more of a safety net for that game at Turf Moor, which is coming up. It is fascinating. 45 minutes of the Steel City derby to come. Half-time here on Talksport 2. It's Wednesday 0, United 0.
EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the McDonald's app and get reward points too. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
Charlie had just hired Joe. He was great. Seemed like he knew his stuff. So Charlie left him alone for 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, Joe managed to burst the main pipe and flood the entire ground floor. Workmates, they're a bit like switching your bank account for your business. You don't want any surprises. That's why we guarantee there won't be any when you switch with the current account switch service. Maybe it's time to switch.
Ready to tackle winter head on?
Yes, of course.
With a heated steering wheel and heated front seats?
Of course.
What about bold new colours?
Yes.
And would you like to lease it for only $269 a month with $269 initial rental?
Yes. Of course.
The Vauxhall Corsa Yes will bring some colour to your driving life. Visit your local Vauxhall retailer or search Corsa now. Personal contract hire. New Corsa Yes 1.2 turbo 100 PS T&Cs. 48 months. Subject to status and availability 18 plus. You will not own the car. Stellantis Financial Services.
Tired of unreliable broadband? Switch to EE today and get our most reliable full fibre ever.
So I can work at home.
While the kids nail dance practice.
And I can help them revise online.
Yes, yes, and yes. We'll even handle the switch for you.
That's epic.
You betcha. All for only $26.99 a month.
$29.99 from 31st of March 2026. 24 months. New customers. 50% UK availability. Terms apply.
As Bethany opened her Amazon parcel, her heart began to race. Waterproof LCD display and heart rate monitoring. This fitness tracker won first place with Bethany for quality and price. 5 stars from Bethany. Amazon. Find highly rated products at prices you'll love.
With a Travis Perkins trade account, you open the door to big trade deals every single month. This month, we've gone big on landscaping. Right through March, get pressure-treated timber decking from as little as £2.63 per metre. With various sizes available, join the club and get this and other big landscaping trade deals this March with your trade account. Travis Perkins, doing what matters for the trade. All prices exclude VAT at 20%.
Magnum Classic Radio Spot, take 1. Matt, bite the Magnum Classic at my signal. Remember to emphasise the perfect cracking chocolate. And then wait for my signal.
Sorry, couldn't resist. Nothing cracks like Magnum. Magnum, true to pleasure.
EFL Live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Enjoy a tasty night in delivered to your door with McDelivery. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com.
EFL All Access tomorrow night from 6 on Talksport 2.
Join me, Hugh Wizencroft, and a wide range of big-name exclusives and hard-hitting analysis across the 3 leagues.
Superheated comments. A performance is as important as a result right now. Expert analysis.
You can't carry players like that.
EFL All Access.
The highs, the lows, you never know what's coming next.
Tomorrow night from 6
on Talksport 2.
What a finish!
The sports machine turns you on to the power of live football.
He fires in a beauty.
EFL Live on Talksport 2.
The cross comes in from the left-hand side. The header from Van Dijk. This time it is in, and he is going to win the Carabao Cup final for Liverpool. Van Dijk with an angled header, and Liverpool are going to win the Carabao Cup.
We cannot be satisfied at this club by reaching a final.
Swinging delivery, and it's another goal.
So simple.
This club should aim for more than only reaching it.
Will it be Liverpool retaining the competition, winning it for an 11th time?
It's more Wembley heartbreak for Newcastle, who have now lost 9 games in a row at this stadium.
A feeling of defeat in the final, which is never nice, and we're desperately disappointed, but you look to the future and you're desperate to get back here and win a trophy.
Oh, they've won it back again inside the area, and Gordon can finish it here. He does.
If they can put a performance on like we've seen over these 2 legs, they've got every opportunity.
They'll give Liverpool a game on Sunday, that's for sure.
And Newcastle United are going to Wembley.
That was my personal dream, to try and bring some silverware to this unbelievable club.
So Eddie Howe hoping to do exactly that, and today's the day of reckoning. Carabao Cup final live over on Talksport. Build-up starts at 3 with Adrian Durham ahead of the 4:30 kickoff. Liverpool against Newcastle at Wembley over on Talksport later. But you're here on Talksport 2 listening to EFL live at half-time here in Hillsborough. Wednesday 0, Sheffield United 0. We'll have full second half commentary to come shortly. Time now though to look back at yesterday's championship action, and Leeds missed the chance to move further clear at the top of the table after being held to a 2-2 draw at QPR. Just 1 win in their last 4 games. But despite the result, manager Daniel Farkas told Talksport's Alex Crook why this was a point gained rather than 2 dropped.
Obviously, during this period of the season, once you have to play the 3rd game within 6 days, and you're 2-0 down on the road, then it's definitely a good point in the end. Yeah, to come back out of such a situation is really good. Of course, we had chances also, like in the final 30 minutes, perhaps to score the winner and to turn the game completely. Of course, I would have preferred this, but overall, it's a good point on the road.
It's a few times in recent weeks you've had to come from behind away from home. I guess the positive from that is it shows there's plenty of character in your team.
Yes, that's right. That's what we definitely also need, and the resilience. When I compare this also like this mentality a bit like last season, it was a similar story. We were also down after 25 minutes with 2-0, but we lost the game. This time around, we came back with a great fight and showed resilience, found different gears. Yes, we have to speak about the first 25-30 minutes, but sometimes also like when you have such crazy loads, it also happens a little bit during this road. And then most important was really to show really good reaction and to find also valuable and point for us.
3 points clear, albeit obviously with the teams below you still to play. You look at your run-in, you've not got to play anybody in the top 7, but is it dangerous to take that for granted, that because you've got the easier set of fixtures automatically that will translate to points?
Yeah, there are no easy fixtures in the run-in because every team has something to play for. They play either to get close to the top 6 or against relegation or to fight for good reputation win, good result against Leeds. So each and every time, and sometimes the teams are even better when they play without any pressure. So for that, you just have to focus on yourself. At the moment, as it stands, 80 points with 8 games to go. That's pretty good, and we want to win as many points as possible. And then we will see what the outcome is.
So that was Daniel Farkas speaking after a Leeds 2-2 draw at QPR in the early game. Later in the afternoon, Burnley moved up to second in the table with a 2-0 win at Swansea to put them within 2 points of the top of the table and also take them 25 games unbeaten. In the process, they set a new championship record with their 27th clean sheet of the season so far. And Scott Parker reflected on that achievement when he was speaking with Talksport's Lawrence Mora after the game.
The aim is to be defensively rock solid like we've been, and then execute and be this attacking, free-flowing. A lot of work went into the team early on, certainly early parts of when I stepped in here. A lot of work on the training ground. You know, you wish you could do it all. You wish you could do the attacking phase, defensive phase, but the facts are you can't. So, and we've got some real good habits in this team that have given us a real foundation to defend our goal, keep a clean sheet, and then we go from there, really. And I think over the last 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, we've also been pretty good in the attacking phase as well and scored some goals.
Yeah, and up to second in the table. It is so tight between you 3. How do you view this final run in here? The 8 games to go.
Try and win games. I honestly have take no notice of what others are doing around us or what they're planning on doing or their results. We just need to keep churning these out now. 25 unbeaten. We came here today in a difficult game. We got the 3 points. We move on to the next one. I've been around this division many a time and long enough to know that each game as it comes now, and as cliche as it sounds, there's no truer words really. So we'll go in now to Bristol. We'll try and win that game. If we win enough this year, between now and then, we'll be all right. And that's the sole thing.
Do you feel you're almost got an aura about you now with that sort of defensive record and the unbeaten record, that teams are going in knowing that, you know, if they concede, that might be it?
Yeah, look, I'm sure that would be the case. You know, the numbers and where we are, it proves that really. So we're a good side, and we've proved that over the course of this season so far, really. So, but this league's a difficult league. We've got tough fixtures coming up as well, but we'll keep nudging away.
That was Scott Parker talking after yet another clean sheet for Burnley yesterday. They've only conceded 11 goals all season. 3 of Scott Parker's former clubs in action in the Premier League this afternoon. Arsenal, Chelsea and Fulham Spurs have both kicked off. Team news for those games, incidentally, they're both still 0-0 in the early stages. Arsenal made 2 changes from the draw at Man United, with Lewis Skelly and Martinelli coming in for Calafiori and Waneri. It's Martinelli's first start since he played against Newcastle on February the 5th in the second leg of the League Cup semi-final. 2 changes for Chelsea from the win against Leicester. Badiashile in his first Premier League start since December the 8th. James came in for Tosin. The other player to miss out, Cole Palmer, who's suffering from illness. It's the first out of 35 Premier League games that Palmer hasn't started since he missed the 5-0 defeat at Arsenal last April. The Fulham Spurs game, Fulham 1 change from the defeat at Brighton, with Willian coming in for Diop. Spurs made 4 changes from the draw with Bournemouth. Davis, Udogie, Gray and Tell coming in for Porro, Sarr, Audebert and the injured Kevin Danso. So we're back out for the second half here at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sheffield United 0. And referee Andrew Kitchen just having a few words with Graham Brewster ahead of the start of this second half. No further changes in personnel. Wednesday lost Max Loader injury in the first half. They're lining up Beadle in goal, Valentin, Iorfa, Ihikwe and Hatsuse, Charles and Bannon, Patterson, Windus, Kasama and Smith. United, who get the second half underway, kicking from left to right. Cooper in goal, Sariki, Akmanogic, Robinson and Burrows, Chowdhury and Peck, Britton, Diaz, Brewster and Harmer and Campbell. So United defending the end away to our left-hand side. The West Stand here at Hillsborough, which houses those travelling Sheffield United supporters. Peck poking the ball forward, straight at Ihikwe, and he can just side-foot it back through the midfield for Callum Patterson, who's one of 2 players in the book so far. The other, Ben Britton Diaz, after a confrontation between the 2 of them midway through the half. Hatsuse hacking a ball inside the penalty area here, which Sariki can clear, and then Peck will calmly bring things under control in the midfield for Sheffield United, but his ball wasn't read by Brewster. Hatsuse able to pick it up again. Japanese international who signed back in the last transfer window. A lays it ball back for Ihikwe, and he fired it forward over Barry Bannon, who wanted it into feet. And it's gone straight through and out of play for a goal kick to Michael Cooper and Sheffield United. And we're a minute into the second half here on Talksport 2. Here's Courtney Sweetman-Kerr.
Well, certainly not started the second half with quite the same energy as the first, but I think that's to be expected. It's after sort of really frantic start, it's turning into a bit of a chess game, and you mentioned it, Jim, a couple of times, and I think you're right. I think 1 goal probably does win this game. I couldn't tell you at the moment which way it could go. I think both teams have got the ability, but it's certainly getting tighter and tighter as the game goes on.
Bannon taking a free kick from inside his own half. It's chested down though by Harmer. Got there ahead of Valentin. Burrows will play the ball up the left-hand touchline. Tyrese Campbell, who's scored in his last 3 games, shuffled out towards the touchline and took Iorfa with him, but Wednesday were able to win it back, and then Bannon sprays one down towards Hatsuse, the left back. He'll play it forward towards halfway. Kasama tried to turn, and Suriki's nudged it out of play for a Sheffield Wednesday throw. Their last home win back on New Year's Day against Derby. They've drawn 3 and lost 2 of the 5 games since then. Now, only Hull City have taken fewer points at home than Wednesday have so far this season. 22 from 16 games. The Blades, on the other hand, 37 points away from home, which is, as I mentioned earlier, it's not the most in the division, but it's the best points per game ratio on the road in the division. It's a throw which will be taken by the Wednesday left-back, Hatsuse. He's absolutely dead level with the edge of the Wednesday penalty area as they kick from right to left, defending the spire and cop end of the ground. Ball over the top of Smith. Chipped back by Robinson. Hikwi climbing over Campbell. Iorfa in behind him, won the second ball, and then Gassama just flicks the ball straight into Sariki, and out of play for what's been given as a Sheffield United throw. Harmer making an immediate run, wanted the ball to be thrown into him by Sariki. Now Peck does likewise, and it's gone further, deeper inside the penalty area instead towards Campbell, but Wednesday can clear and will just smack it hopefully forward, and Smith will gainfully chase after it, but Robinson had all the time in the world to bring it under control. Lays it back for Cooper, and Cooper had a lot of time as well, and he used nearly all of it before firing the ball wide out towards Burrows. Turned back through the midfield, given away. Bit of a scrappy start of the second half here. It's a Shea Charles for Sheffield Wednesday. Back in field towards Bannon. Bannon taking it on towards the corner of the penalty area. Now Patterson. Windus. Now for Paul Valentin. Can Spaniard get the ball in from the dead ball line? He can, and Brewster heads it away. There's then a little header back inside the penalty area from Peck towards Burrows. It looked as though Peck was manhandled there by Windus. The referee says there was no foul. And United get it clear, and it's going to be a Wednesday throw midway inside the Sheffield United half.
It was right in front of the assistant. He didn't see anything wrong with it, but this passage of play where Sheffield Wednesday looking bright actually comes from an opportunity he spoke about where Michael Cooper just seemed to dally on the ball, and he waited and waited and waited. That's when the turnover of possession comes in. It felt a little bit needless at the time, and they're paying for it with now Sheffield Wednesday in possession.
Harmer getting it away, winning it back, and then drilling it forward. Bannon can bring it under control. Becoming increasingly influential. And then Gassama, it's near touchline, the former PSG man, wins the throw. He's scored in his last couple of games, including the winner at Norwich on Tuesday. Thrown back by him towards Hikwi, and he finds his goalkeeper, Beadle.
And it's interesting, I'm just looking at the team sheets here, and the one thing that Sheffield United do have in their favour, I would say that they have the better bench. I think it's actually something Danny Rowe mentioned in terms of the money that's been invested within the Sheffield United squad, but the likes of Raksaki, O'Hare, and Kiefer Moore as well, that can come on and impact in forward areas, and I'm sure it's something that Chris Wilder will be thinking about if it stays 0-0 for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, worth looking at the benches. McCallum, Holding, Moore, O'Hare, Raksaki, Baptiste, Cannon and Brooks. That's the Sheffield United bench. For the Owls, it's Palmer, Chalobah, Ingleson, Josh Lowe, Valentin, who's already come on, Marv Johnson, Kabatsky and Masaba. Here's Cooper, again with the ball at his feet inside the penalty area, rolling it forward. Ahmed Ogic, and this time Peck has got a free kick gone his way. There's no yellow card, and that's the point that he's making this time to referee Kitchen. There will be a free kick just outside the penalty area. He's got a reputation for letting the game flow, Andrew Kitchen. Doesn't produce many cards, which may well be one of the reasons why he was appointed to this game. And he's done his best. He's been consistent. He's done his best to let the game flow as much as he can.
Yeah, he's tried his best, but as we all know from a derby game, that's always difficult to do so. He's only stopped the game when he's had to, but there's been so many moments, quite a few flashpoints that he's had to intervene, he's had to deal with, and just say he's refereed it well so far.
Now he's got a decision to make, because Gassama has gone down hurt. There was a challenge on Ben Brereton Diaz from Gassama, which was a foul. Then Brereton Diaz pushed his boots up in the air and in the general direction of Gassama, who fell into them and hurt himself in the process.
That's the context, isn't it? And is it natural from Brereton Diaz as he's been upended, or is it towards Sheffield Wednesday winger? And goalkeeper's seen that's just a natural movement by Brereton Diaz.
The referee's told them both to get on with it, and play restarts with the Sheffield United throw, which Sariki takes, gets the return ball from Chowdhury, and he can't control it. And it's rolled straight out of play for a Wednesday throw. Celtic have one back at home to Rangers. Dyson Maeda with the goal, almost inevitably. Celtic 1, Rangers 2 in the Old Firm game. And they're 9 minutes into the second half. We're about a minute or two behind them here at Hillsborough. As Peck turns the ball forward through the midfield, but straight to Valentine. Valentine will take it on, combining well with Callum Patterson on the Wednesday right-hand side. Smith makes a run, wants the ball in defeat, and then he probably made that initial movement as a decoy and spun in behind Ahmedhodzic, but the ball wasn't forthcoming. Charles can keep it alive. Play down towards Valentine. Did he keep that in? Yes, he did, and then he was completely upended down by the corner flag. And it's a free kick to Wednesday in the corner quadrant. And that was another rumbustious challenge that came in, and it's left Valentine on the deck. Burrows was the perpetrator.
Valentine, absolutely no right to keep that ball in, by the way. Was overhit, does ever so well. I think that's probably why the challenge just come the way it does from Burrows. I think he's expecting that ball to go out and then thinks, right, I've got to do something here. I've got to recover the situation.
Not convinced he did keep it in, but the assistant referee much closer to it than me. It is a free kick which will be taken on the right-hand touchline, right on the right-hand touchline. It looked as though the challenge was down in the corner quadrant, but where the free kick has been spotted down is about 5 yards adrift of the corner flag down the touchline. Gassama makes a darting run towards the bottom right-hand corner of the penalty area. Chowdhury's keeping a weather eye on him. And again, the quartet of Wednesday players standing in a queue by the penalty spot. Right-footed ball swung in that general direction, headed down by Ihikwe. It bounced on the edge of the 6 and just dropped into the hands of Cooper, who bowled it out quickly for Sariki to get United going again. Still 0-0.
Yeah, Smith was in and around as well, so 2 Wednesday players free in the middle of that box again.
Now Sariki's going to get a yellow card here, having led a counter-attack. He overran the ball and then stretched over the top of it to try and win it back and maintain possession. And Iorfa, who got a touch to nudge it past him, got caught, and Sariki's in the book.
And I think that's been coming, to be honest. There's a few moments where he's been a bit late in the challenge, and I think that's totted up for accumulation more than anything.
0-0 here. 0-0 between Arsenal and Chelsea, and Fulham and Tottenham. In both of those games, you can hear updates over on Talksport right now. And don't forget, later on Talksport, the Carabao Cup final, Liverpool against Newcastle United. And that's live from 4:30. Free kick here, which Beadle will come forward to take. Drives it, right-footed. 4-iron towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's chested down. Smith will try and get on the end of it. A high spiralling ball, Windass, and that's gone out of play. Out for a goal kick, which will be taken by Cooper. Windass has scored in 5 successive games over Christmas. He is the leading scorer for Sheffield Wednesday this season with 11. In fact, he's the most prolific man on the pitch over the course of this season. That was a very high tariff chance.
It was, although he is a player that's got, the eye for the spectacular. So sometimes for him especially, they do come off, but not on that occasion.
Chowdhury, after the free kick was knocked short to him. Ahmedhodzic will be able to bring it forward here for Sheffield United in the Steel City derby. 2 sides locked together at 0-0 again. Hatsuse plays it back for Ihikwe. Iorfa backpedaling and receives the ball and goes to his goalkeeper Beadle. And he's got all the time that he wants. Brings it under control. Hits it right-footed again. Bit of grappling going on between Akmanogic and Smith. Peck then thought he was fouled by Bannon. I think Bannon thought that he'd fouled him. Had a look at the referee. Smith with a little backheel flick. Is this the moment? It's not. Windus driving one towards goal. Chowdhury with a great block got in the way and diverts it over the bar for a corner.
Well, I think it was initially the wrong decision, to be honest. I think Smith and Akmanogic, I think that was a foul, and then potentially, I think that's why Andrew Kitchen then let the game flow, keep it in the possession of Sheffield Wednesday, do ever so well, move the ball quickly. The little flick's lovely into Windus, and it's only some real last-minute defending for Sheffield United that keeps it level.
Yeah, really important block. First corner of the second half. Right-footed in-swinger. Away swinger, I beg your pardon, towards the near post, and Chowdhury has got that clear. Another ball in, that one's headed away by Burrows. Bounces just outside the penalty area. Brewster playing it forward. Campbell out towards Peck on the left-hand touchline, who tries to take on Gassama, who's come across and fouled him, and that will be a yellow card as well. Fourth player booked today.
I think Sidney Peck makes the most of that. He knows the challenge is coming. Harman's having a chat with Campbell as well, because he makes a great run out on the right-hand side. The ball into Sidney Peck by Campbell as well wasn't the best, a little bit overhit, so he had to make something of it. Did really well to win the free kick for United.
At what stage does Chris Wilder decide that he's going to rotate the pack? You've talked about the attacking options that he can call upon. Kiefer Moore up front, O'Hare and Cannon as well, who's still waiting for his first goal in Sheffield United colours. I wonder if the script's written for him. Ball launched forward. Bannon can stoop and get it away, and then it's volleyed further clear by Valentine, straight towards Smith. Great control, just plays the way that he's facing, back towards Patterson, but Chowdhury's there ahead of him. Gassama could come forward. Charles then heading it out towards the right-hand touchline. Smith, low ball in, and it's another piece of excellent defending from Hamza Chowdhury, sliding in at the near post, got there ahead of Windus to put it behind for a corner.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and I do wonder though, with the changes, you're looking at the forward line because you want goals, whether they might change the midfield, Sheffield United, because Hamza Chowdhury drops in so deep to help out almost as that third centre half. The wingers the fullbacks rather turn into wingers, get really high, but actually it leaves Sidney Peck on his own in the midfield, and I think sometimes that's where Sheffield United are struggling.
Corner to be taken on the Wednesday right-hand side. It's their fifth of the game. This time, the build-up is the typical Arsenal set piece. Everybody at the far post, wide of the far post. Now they make their darting runs into a more central position. And Ihikwe gets on the end of it and heads it well wide. Good movement, and he created the space very well, but it was a disappointing effort.
And that's not the first time that a Sheffield Wednesday player has found themselves free in the Sheffield United box from a set piece. They've not been able to profit from it so far, but I think the defending has left a lot to be desired in that sense.
First Premier League goal of the afternoon scored by Arsenal's Mikel Merino. They lead Chelsea 1-0. Chelsea yet to have an attempt or a touch in the Arsenal penalty area, and they're trailing to that goal from Merino. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0. Fulham against Spurs is still goalless. Rangers 2-1 up at Celtic. 0-0 here in the Steel City derby with just over an hour played. Cooper getting it forward towards Hamza Chowdhury. Chowdhury with a couple of vital defensive interceptions. Almost on a par with that wonderful early save from Cooper. It's still the closest that we've come. Sheffield United haven't had a single attempt on target in the game so far, and we're 62 minutes in. Wednesday, for their part, have only had 3. That's Sousay. High ball forward, headed on by Smith, but only into space, and Akmanogic is going to be there first, and he'll get it and go back to Cooper.
Something has to change, doesn't it, for Sheffield United, ticking into 63rd minute just about now, and you feel that's the time that you're going to make changes if you really want to push on and try and get that goal to get your nose in front. But as I say as well, it might be a case of rejigging the midfield a little bit just to give a better service to that Sheffield United forward line.
Yeah, you talked before the game about how you anticipated they would really miss Vinny Sosa today, and I think you've no disrespect to the players in there, that has been borne out. You're listening to Sheffield Wednesday against Sheffield United in the EFL Championship. And it's live on Talksport 2 with McDonald's. Order McDelivery on the app and get rewards points. 18 plus participating restaurants. Delivery fees and terms apply. See mcdonalds.com. Akmanogic goes to his left-hand side for Burrows. A long ball launched forward from him, chased by Ben Bryant and Diaz, headed away by Suse. Just into space for Gassama. Back he goes to the Japanese, who's at long ball forward as well, brought under control from Smith. He's so good with his back to the direction of play. Ball then headed away by Robinson. On from Charles in the midfield. Bannon away from Campbell, who's chasing everything so obediently, but he's had no service all afternoon. Been a thankless task for him, really. Here's Peck, a player with an outstanding future. Great pirouette in possession. It's a lovely ball down the right-hand side as well. And he's played in Campbell. Flag stays down. Campbell taking on a beating Ihikwe. Ball through the 6-yard box and tapped in by Brewster. 1-0 Sheffield United. Against the run of play over the last 10-15 minutes. It's a magnificent pass from Peck. Down the right-hand side of the penalty area. Ihikwe was caught. They were struggling from that point. Campbell worked it through the 6-yard box. Beadle got a hand to it, but all he could do was tip it into the path of Ryan Brewster, who side foots it in. He could not miss. It's his first goal in 31 games in the city of Sheffield. His first for more than 3 years in this city. And it's given United the lead in the derby. And it's taken them back level on points with Leeds United.
Wow, this is a massive moment for Sheffield United and also for Ryan Brewster. There's had so many injury issues in recent years, so this will mean so much to him personally as well. But how well does Sidney Peck do down the right-hand side? The ball manipulation, so clever to shield the ball. He uses his strength, the quality on the ball. And then we mentioned Tyrese Campbell. He's hardly had anything to feed off. And we've mentioned the lack of quality in the forward area. Nothing to do with him, it's just the service. But then, when he gets that moment, he loses his strength, uses his power and his speed to drive. I think it's Iorfa that he gets across, and then he's got that composure, drives across the byline and just tries to find an area. Yes, there's a little bit of touch along the way, but it's the fact as well that Sheffield United, they've committed bodies forward. Ryan Brewster in the right place at the right time. Will never score an easier goal, but this is a huge goal for Sheffield United.
He's only ever played against Sheffield Wednesday once in his career before today. He scored that day as well. That was back in his Swansea days. And he scored the goal that gives United the lead. Euphoric scenes in the West Stand. Smoke bombs going off, as I'm sure you would have heard. And now Sheffield United have something to protect. Scored first now in their last 9 games. No side has scored first more often this season. And they've won 22 of the 27 in which they've had a 1-0 lead. Can they hold on here with 25 minutes to go? Hasn't been a vintage Blades performance, but they lead courtesy of their first shot on target.
Yeah, not by any stretch of the imagination. You know, they've had to get a bit of luck and, you know, be very good defensively. And the likes we know mentioned a couple of big blocks from Hamza Chowdhury, Cooper with that fantastic save in the first half. But this is Sheffield United. This is what they've been doing this season. They've just been able to find a way to stick in games, and then there'll be a moment from someone, a moment of quality. Tyrese Campbell on this occasion, and very good at defending now. You know, these leads, when they get there, you don't often give them away. I think the only time they've scored first and lost is against Leeds, and for me, Leeds are going to be the team that get promoted as champions. So that's a good record to have if Sheffield United.
Yep, in that game against Leeds where they scored first, they were 1-0 up at this stage and lost it 3-1. Brewster, that's only his 8th goal in 109 Sheffield United appearances. But it's a very significant one. His name being chanted by the travelling Blades fans. Chowdhury trying to release the ball to Burrows outside him. It's gone out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Beadle away to our right-hand side. Wednesday, to their credit, have got a good record at coming from behind in games, but mostly away from home. They have come back 5 times over the course of this season, from 1-0 down to win. I mean, they came back from 2-0 down to win just on Tuesday. But they haven't been able to turn one round here at Hillsborough when they've gone 1-0 down. The Blades, midway through the second half, and they're leading 1-0.
Interesting to see what Wilder does now. I think it's, we're too far away to really sit in and protect this lead, in my opinion, with only 68 minutes gone. But do you bring maybe someone on like a Kiefer Moore, who's different to Campbell, and he would be more of a focal point maybe? It'd be interesting.
Well, Ingleson's going to be coming on for Wednesday in a moment as Harmer has the ball on the edge of the Owls penalty area. Back from him to Campbell. And it's deflected away off Charles for a throw that will be taken on the United left-hand side by Burrows. Taken quickly in towards Harmer. Bannon able to get the ball away. Windus, Valentine. Just playing around Chowdhury, who then wires into a challenge. Something that a couple of defensive blocks he may look even more important now. Here's Peck towards the edge of the area. He's gone for goal, and it's easily saved by the diving Beadle. Just bringing the ball into his chest. 1-0 to Sheffield United with 69 gone.
Looking brighter now. You can see what that goal it's done for Sheffield United. The confidence to get forward a little bit more, get the shots off, but you just don't want to leave yourself too open and leave a gap for an opportunity to Wednesday to get back into the game.
Trying to do exactly that now with Gassama getting towards the byline. He's got round his man Sariki with ease. Sariki coming back. It was an awkward looking challenge, but I'm sure he played the ball. Gassama's still down inside the penalty area. There's no room for error there, because even a slightly mistimed challenge might have resulted in a yellow card offence, and he would have been off and it would have been a penalty. It's going to be a triple change for Wednesday at the next break in play. Chalobah, Ingleson and Johnson are the players that are getting ready. Hasuse. Forward from him. Smith flicks it on. Brought down by Robinson. Poking it forward towards Peck. Another performance from beyond his years today, but he's given that one away. Drilled through the midfield and Bannon could control it. Burrows then comes across to stop the gallivanting run of Valentine. And it's out for a Sheffield Wednesday throw. They don't make the changes yet. Valentine to Bannon and straight back again. Now towards Charles. Bannon. Is it going to be another Sheffield derby without a win for one of the club's most illustrious players of recent times? Valentine. Clipping the ball inside the penalty area. Robinson having to stretch to be able to head it away. Back it comes from Windus, a real high up and under inside the 6-yard box. Cooper came out, got stuck in traffic, did really well, punched it clear, and probably punched 2 players in the process. Play's got to stop there. Wednesday asking for the game to stop. United working it forward quickly, but there's a head injury. There was a clash of heads between 2 players who went down. Robinson's back up on his feet. But one of the Sheffield Wednesday contingent is still down there hurt. It's Patterson, I think. And he's rather gingerly just getting back to his feet now. This will give Wednesday the chance to make that triple change. So we're going to see Chalobah, Ingleson and Johnson come on. Patterson is one of the players who's going to be replaced here. And he's sprinting off. Hasuse also makes way. He's coming off at a much more leisurely pace. And who's going to be the third Sheffield Wednesday player to come off? Chalobah will be replacing Charles. So a straight swap there. Ingleson will come on to try and pull the strings just behind Michael Smith. And Johnson replaces Hasuse at left back. So they've got one change left still. And Chris Wilder hasn't looked at the bench at all yet. Sheffield Wednesday have made 4. What are your thoughts on those 3, Courtney?
Yeah, well, the like for like with Hasuse, I don't think he's impacted the game the way that he would have liked today. He's probably been a little bit poor in possession. In terms of Chalobah as well, made an impact from the bench earlier in the week, and will just give a little bit more dictation in that midfield at times, I think. So I'm not overly surprised with the changes. I'm very interested to see what Chris Wilder is thinking and where he'll make his.
Iorfa heads it away. Chalobah's first touch was a poor one. He just got caught in possession. Well, one back by Harmer from the one-time England international. Burrows to Campbell on the Sheffield United left. Back he goes to Chowdhury into his own half for Robinson. Square to Ahmedhodzic, who takes a touch and then chips it forward. Trying to release Ben Breer and Diaz. Diaz wins the second ball after the contribution from the goal scorer Brewster. Peck, Robinson, Ahmedhodzic. Sheffield United less than 20 minutes away from win number 25 this season. And Sariki with a good touch got away from Ihikwe, but there's really good covering from Johnson in behind him. He followed the fullback every step of the way, and it goes out of play for a goal kick that'll be taken by Beadle. And Sheffield Wednesday 73 gone here on Talksport 2. It's Wednesday 0, United 1 in the Steel City derby.
Changes look to be afoot on that Sheffield United bench. I think it's Tom Cannon that's starting to strip off.
Cannon getting ready, the £10 million signing from Leicester. He got 11 goals on loan at Stoke in the first half of the season. He's still waiting to break his blades duck. I wonder if the script is written for his first goal in Sheffield United colours to be a very significant one somewhere. Brewster with what looks like a significant one at the moment. All after excellent play by Peck and Campbell. And Brewster's got it now, setting up Harmer. Harmer threading it through. Campbell's offside though. Got himself into a shooting position in the penalty area, and he fired one in that has knocked one of the Wednesday defenders, Paul Valentine, off his feet. But the flag is up. Crowd of 33,827 today. The majority of them frustrated by the scoreline. It's not been a bad Wednesday performance, but it is a bad Wednesday result if it stays like this.
Yeah, as you say, it's not a bad performance by any stretch of the imagination. They've come against a very good goalkeeper in Cooper. A couple of moments where great defensive blocks and probably just not done quite enough in the final third. And you'd probably say Sheffield United haven't actually done enough in the final third anyway, but they've just been that little bit more clinical.
So here comes Cannon, and he's going to replace Campbell. No goal for Tyrese Campbell today. Can't make it 4 in a row, but he has provided a devastating assist to go along with the winner that he scored against the Owls back in November. The Old Firm game, Celtic 2 down at home to Rangers at half-time. Now got it back to 2-2. Maeda and Hatate with the goals in the second half. Celtic 2, Rangers 2, 15 minutes left to play. This one, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sheffield United 1, with 14 minutes to go. Robinson driving it forward. Ihikwe heading it down. Johnson getting it back to his goalkeeper, Beadle. And a long ball forward from him. Headed on well by Smith. A chase by Ingleson, but there was a clear push on Sariki. Well, although the home crowd don't like it, it is a free kick for Sheffield United in their right back position. 14 left.
Yeah, and it's just one of those. It's a little bit naive. He doesn't like it, but hands are out. There's no doubt that it's a push. And could Sariki have stayed up on his feet? Yeah, he probably could. But if you're in the position you are, winning 1-0, and you feel the hands in your back, then you're going to go down and win the free kick.
Wednesday's home record against top 10 opposition has been really poor this season. And if they can't find an equaliser here, they will have lost 7 of the 9 games that they played at home to top 10 opposition and taken only 4 points in the process. Beat West Brom here, drew with Bristol City. Every other game will end in a defeat at home to top 10 opposition, unless they can find something here. They've got a free kick, but it's well inside their own half, and there's a few more angry words being exchanged. Chalobah's involved in that, so too Brewster. Ihikwe, I think, trying to calm things down rather than become an additional protagonist. Everybody's happy again, and the free kick is driven forward by Marv Johnson towards the edge of the United penalty area. Cleared by Burrows, straight out of play for a throw. Throw that Wednesday will take with Ingleson over on the far touchline. So Smith takes up position on the edge of the 6-yard box. Windus just engages with Ben Brereton Diaz, and now he's going on a real walkabout. He's here, there and everywhere, and Brereton Diaz, like a faithful puppy, is following him every step of the way. Long throw inside the penalty area, and it's half cleared, only half cleared. Then a shot comes in. What did that hit? Hit Robinson somewhere. Play goes on, and then it's cleared by Burrows. Long ball launched forward. Harmer thought that he was fouled by Johnson as the pair of them tussled for it. The referee didn't agree, and Johnson's got the ball at his feet. Swung inside the penalty area, headed away by Robinson. Bannon will come on to him. Should be Cannon's, but he's lost it easily, and then a poor defensive header will get Cannon going. Cannon passed one challenge, couldn't beat a second, and Johnson steps up and across from left back to centre half, and he's able to flick it out towards Josh Windus.
Couldn't get it out of his feet quick enough, Cannon. It was just stuck underneath him, couldn't get that big touch out that he needed to chase the ball. And just watching below me as well, O'Hare's had a long chat with Chris Wilder. Tells him exactly the manager what he wants from O'Hare, and when he comes on the pitch, he's starting to strip off now.
Yeah, it could well be O'Hare for Brewster in a moment. Here's Bannon. Chalobah finding himself on the left flank. Ball inside the penalty area, just a little bit too high for Smith. Great shape on it, not quite the elevation he wanted. Then he's headed out towards the right-hand side for Jedi Gassama. And Gassama was well challenged by Harmer. And a Wednesday fan in front of us stands up and berates the referee for not giving a free kick. Wednesday have got the ball back, though, on halfway with Bannon. Blonde-haired Scott through the midfield for Chalobah. Chalobah back for Barry Bannon again. Poked forward, left-footed, out towards the right-hand side. Gassama, can he get the ball in before it gets to the byline? Did he get a contact on that before the deflection? No, he didn't. It had already gone over the line before he pulled it back into the Sheffield United player. And it is a goal kick and not a corner. And everybody watching the ball, chasing full power to try and get there, and a couple ended up bashing into the hoardings, but they're both okay. Back on their feet, and all of a sudden there are only 10 minutes left. Sheffield United 10 minutes plus stoppage time away from being back level on points with Leeds, with 80 against their name. Wednesday will make their final change. Masaba is going to be coming on, the Dutch winger who played in the top division in his native country and in Belgium as well. So Masaba for Gassama is the Wednesday change, their final one. And United are going to be bringing on O'Hare. He'll replace Brewster. And we're also going to see McCallum come on. Sam McCallum, who signed from Norwich. Just the one Blades goal to his name so far. Is that going to be a straight swap for Burrows at left back? You would imagine so. We'll find out in a moment which number comes up. No, it's Harmer. So he's going to play ahead of him down the left-hand side, but it is a defensive-minded change.
Yeah, and I think with Harmer as well being on that yellow card, that's maybe just a little bit of thought process in there as well.
So another Sheffield United player in a huge hurry to leave the field. Harmer coming off now. McCallum on to replace him. And Callum O'Hare on for Brewster. So it's Cannon up front with O'Hare in behind him. Brereton Diaz on the right and McCallum on the left. That's the attacking quartet for Sheffield United here. Now the referee telling Cooper to get on with it. He says, I'm happy that the substitutions have been made. You need to restart sometime. Otherwise, I'm going to book you. He's tested the referee's patience. Ball played out towards Ahmedhodzic, and Smith fouled him. So it's a free kick to Sheffield United on the right-hand touchline. 8.5 minutes to go.
It's interesting with McCallum coming on. I've seen it quite a few times this season when he comes on and plays in front of Burrows. And they're very much interchangeable, and actually more often than not it means that McCallum will almost drop in. And Harrison Burrows, we know he's got great quality on the ball, so it's just that insurance then where he does go forward. McCallum's very much more defensive minded.
Sheffield United at the moment set fair for 6 away wins in a row in the league for the first time since 1893. Femi Siriki on the right-hand touchline, dropping his shoulder, taking on one too many though. Ingleson just came across, eased him to the ground. He did go shoulder to shoulder, the ball within playing distance. Nothing wrong with that challenge. And play will restart with the goal kick that Beadle will take. But they're fast running out of time. It is 7.5 plus stoppage time to go. And the United fans away to our left. Their songs with increasing confidence that they're going to be able to see this through, as well as the delight at the current scoreline. Robinson heading the ball away. O'Hare going up for it. Beaten by Chalobah in the battle of the substitutes. Then Sariki is hurt as he went for a 50-50 with Ingelsson. O'Hare's got there. O'Hare's going to be able to take it past Johnson. Then checks back on the right-hand touchline. Brereton Diaz similarly turns back inside for Peck. Chowdhury and Smith just getting involved a little bit off the ball. Burrows out towards McCallum. And the ball played into McCallum and straight out for a throw, which will be taken on the Wednesday right-hand side. 83 on the clock. 1-0 United in the Sheffield derby.
It's intelligent by O'Hare down that right-hand side. I think initially he looks up and he probably wants to swing that ball in, but I think it was only Cannon that was in there. So the fact that he has that in mind, turns back, keeps possession. Yes, they lose it in the end, Sheffield United, but it's that good piece of play from O'Hare initially.
Iorfa. Now played up the Wednesday right-hand side. Smith. Back out of the touchline. Masaba. Wednesday can't get the ball forward as quickly as they would like. There's still an element of patience about everything that they're doing. Bannon, still inside his own half, now can play it forward towards the blonde-haired Ingelsson. Johnson, yarding from the left-hand touchline. He's chipped the ball back and just gets involved with Sariki. It was a tangling of legs once the ball had gone. Both extricate themselves from that situation and play goes on. 1-0 to Sheffield United here. 6 to go. Masaba. Ball played away from Chowdhury. Back through the midfield for Iorfa. And coming forward towards halfway is Josh Windus. Chalobah to his left, nudging it past the dark-haired, thick-set O'Hare. Iorfa. You can just sense the frustration from the Wednesday supporters. Their desperation to see their side get it forward more quickly.
Oh, the manager as well. He's saying play forward. He's pointing forward.
Johnson trying to do that now, bringing it towards the edge of the penalty area, but 3 Blades players were able to stop him. And one of them has stayed down. Injured. Will be a free kick on the edge of the D.
Just watching Danny roll there. He's actually gone and sat down now. Sort of huffing and puffing and sat down frustrated, because you're right. They need to have a bit of urgency now with themselves. Sheffield Wednesday too slow to want to play forward. The lack of urgency is very surprising, and that's why you hear the fans getting on the backs. They want to see them get the ball forward, try and cause some chaos in the box. That last little rear guard to try and get that equaliser.
Well, there's no potential to make any more changes. So the personnel that are on the field are going to have to rescue this for Sheffield Wednesday, if it's going to be rescued. Sheffield United, a goal to the good. Rhian Brewster on 65 minutes. And we've now played 86. Cooper taking this free kick, smacking it forward into Wednesday territory. Brereton Diaz going up for it and winning the throw, which will be taken on the right-hand side. Brereton Diaz showing a real reluctance to take that throw. And as a consequence, Ingelsson goes and retrieves the ball for him. Sariki. A little bit of match management going on for the Blades, and who could blame them in the situation they're in? They've earned the right to try and eke out as many seconds as they can away from playing time. Has gone out of play now for a goal kick. Beadle's going to take it. 3.5 to go.
It's unbelievable, and this is why the fans are frustrated, because Beadle is like contemplating what he's going to do. Are they going to play out from the back straight away? That should have just been on the line. Everyone get out, and we're going to fight for the ball higher up the pitch, and that's why the Wednesday fans are frustrated.
Wednesday have got it midway inside Sheffield United territory. It's Masaba trying to beat Peck. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. That's all that separates Sheffield United from another Steel City derby win. And from being back joint level on top of the table with Leeds, and from this club record number of away wins in a row. Johnson, oh, good save, and it came out for Ingleson, who should have scored. That was the moment. Johnson firing one in left-footed. Cooper did well, got down quickly, strong hands to it. All he could do was stop it. It came to Ingleson really quickly on the stretch, but any kind of decent contact there, and it's 1-1, and he's put it over the bar.
Well, all around us, it's heads in hands. Can't believe it. Sheffield Wednesday fans, and initially when that ball drops in, Sheffield United just don't do well defensively. It drops in front of Ingleson, misses him, and as you're right, he goes through to Johnson, who hits it extremely well, and on the follow-up he does everything right. Ingleson, he's trying to follow the ball in. I think it's just the close proximity and the ferocity that ball comes out at him at. He just can't sort his feet out in time.
Well, he scored at Middlesbrough on Boxing Day, still waiting for his first Hillsborough goal. It should have come there. Britton Diaz has given it away though, back towards Ingleson. He's been fouled. That's an easy decision, a yellow card for Ahmedhodzic. And a free kick to Wednesday, midway inside United territory.
He'll take it. Ahmedhodzic is not arguing it, but he just thinks he has to take evasive action. Brereton Diaz, oh, it's poor from him in a moment where you need that composure and that game management. Gives the ball away, and Ahmedhodzic, he just thinks, I need to clear ball and play here, take everyone what's coming to me, because I need to stop this attack by any means possible.
Ahmedhodzic with his 10th yellow card of the season to go along with the red card that he picked up at Coventry. The Blades are going to be bringing Rob Holding on very shortly. Will be in the 90th minute of the game when he arrives. The referee's going across and having a word with Chalobah. Britton Diaz is the player that is coming off to be replaced by Holding. Meantime, an 88th minute goal in the Old Firm game. Celtic 2 down at half-time, got it back to 2-2, now trail 3-2. And it's Iggerman with the goal from a Jack Butland assist. Celtic 2, Rangers 3 in the last minute. This one 1-0 to Sheffield United in the last minute of the 90. Bannon to take a free kick though for Wednesday. And a chance to swing it inside the penalty area. Nearly everybody is in the Sheffield United box. Right on the edge of it, but in it nevertheless. Bannon hitting it into space. First contact from a United player. I think it was Sariki got his head to it. Whacked further away by the Sheffield United defensive contingent. It was Tom Cannon actually was back there, and he then, after the ball bounces, heads it out. 6 minutes of stoppage time. That's how close Sheffield United are. Haven't won 6 straight away league games since the 19th century. Is it coming here? What a place it would be to seal that. Ingleson with a long throw inside the Sheffield United box. Out comes Cooper and catches it. It's good movement across him. And Iorfa very nearly got a touch to divert it past the keeper. He goes down as good goalkeeping when he's got the ball in his hands. And he gets back to his feet. He looks over his shoulder, makes sure that Iorfa is okay, and he will sportingly let Iorfa make his way back into his defensive position, all, of course, to waste time.
It's been a brilliant signing, Cooper, and yet again brilliant today. Some big saves, moments where he commands his area just like we've seen there, and yeah, it's been a really smart acquisition for Sheffield United.
Half-time in the 2 Premier League games. Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0, Fulham 0, Spurs 0. League Cup final to come on Talksport at 4:30. Last knockings here of the Steel City derby. 5 minutes of stoppage time to go, and it's Wednesday 0, United 1. McCallum turns the ball forward. Iorfa chasing after it, and he can flick it out towards the right-hand touchline. Back in then from Valentine to Chalobah. Bannon dropping deep again. And a bit to influence play. Such a good range of passing on him. And he's floated a lovely ball forward here. Smith's done well. Come to meet it. Flicks it on for Masaba. Masaba onto his left foot. Oh, he's got past his man. Drills it in. Cooper again equal to it. Near post. Stopped it finding a man in blue and white. But they've got another corner here, Sheffield Wednesday, in the 93rd minute.
I think it's Robinson. Completely sells in with a little drop of the shoulder. Cuts then to the byline, gets the ball in the box. Big clearance by Harrison Burrows in the end.
Corner to be taken on the Wednesday right. Ingleson out there, left-footed, swung in deep. Really good claim again from Cooper. Actually, not quite as hard a claim as the last one. But he's not a goalkeeper to die wondering. He will come out and take control of the situation for you. And it's, again, an outstanding piece of goalkeeping. You think back to that early save he made that set the tone for Sheffield United when they were struggling early on in the game. Well, that fine save, I'm sure, will be referenced by Chris Wilder in his post-match interview, because that is every bit as important as the goal.
Yeah, it should be, and that's when Sheffield Wednesday were really at the peak of their ascendancy within the game. And if I say that goal goes in there, it completely changes the complexion. Sheffield Wednesday with their tails up, the crowd behind them. And yeah, the fact that he kept that out of the net is a real big moment in the game, and rightly so. I hope that the manager, Chris Wilder, does mention it, because he deserves it, Cooper.
They haven't won yet. He hasn't got his clean sheet yet. Wednesday trying to get it forward again. Ingleson. Cannon going up for it. O'Hare is in there battling with Bannon. O'Hare can stab a ball forward. He's done brilliantly just to flick the ball into space and got it to dive for Sariki. Sariki's ball in, sliding challenge, puts it away by Hikwe. And then Johnson will stop it going out of play for a corner. O'Hare blocks the latest Johnson clearance, goes out for a goal kick. And Beadle's clapping his hands with real urgency because he's desperate for the ball boy to throw him a ball as quickly as possible. We got 2 minutes, just a shade over that. And it's Sheffield Wednesday 0, Sheffield United 1. Beadle to take the goal kick. All the players, concertina over towards the right-hand side. O'Hare can head it away. Chalobah nods it down. And just a coming together between Cannon and Iorfa on halfway. Play goes on though. No time for Sheffield Wednesday to contest the decision for the free kick they thought they should have had. They just got to get on with it. Ahmedhodzic caught by Ingleson. That's a free kick to Sheffield United. It's a daft one to give away.
Yeah, and there's a couple of times that Ingleson's done that now where, look, I get it, frustration's getting the better of you, but you know, those naive little challenges that plays into the hands of Sheffield United, because as soon as they feel that, they're going down, waste a little bit more time. You know, take the time to take the free kick, and it's just seconds that they're taking away from Wednesday.
Well, Cooper will come out to take this free kick, and just the process of him getting there is going to knock another 15 seconds off the clock. Hasn't had a yellow card for time wasting, and probably this is a situation, if ever you're going to earn one, that you would be prepared to test the referee's patience. Again, playing to the limits, but he drives it forward, right-footed. A minute of stoppage time to go. Maybe a few extra seconds to be added on top of that. Bannon turning away from O'Hare. Wednesday have got the ball, but they're deep inside their own half. Long ball sent forward towards Smith. Ahmedhodzic can get it away. Peck helping it forward. Sariki and bravely emerges with the ball at his feet. Cannon wanted it in defeat. He's held it up instead of find McCallum. And Chris Wilder just points towards the corner flag. That's where he wanted him to go. McCallum's lost possession under Masaba. Wednesday can bring him forward here with Valentine. Valentine towards the edge of the penalty area. It's going to be very late and dramatic if Wednesday can equalise, but they've got a corner to try and do it from, and it's all down to McCallum losing possession.
Well, this is it. 95-45. This is it for Sheffield Wednesday. They have to do it now, and this is about Sheffield United. If they want to win this game, you've got to put everything on the line, do everything you can to keep this ball out of the net.
Watch out, Beadle's about, goalkeepers come forward inside the penalty area. 6 minutes are up. United repel this corner, they've won. In it comes, headed by Iorfa, volleyed away by O'Hare. Victory for Sheffield United. 6 in a row away from home in the league for the first time in 132 years. The celebrations in southern Sheffield will go on long into the night. Not a great performance. It is a massive win. Any victory over the old enemy brings with it huge parochial pride. This one accompanied with 3 crucial points. They're joint top with Leeds United with 8 games to play. Another home defeat for Sheffield Wednesday. Another away win for Sheffield United. Rhian Brewster's first goal in this city for more than 3 years. Enough to win them the game.
Yeah, and I was just watching there, Rhian Brewster, all the players that were finish the game on the pitch, one of the first things they do is run over to him because he is such a well-liked member of this squad. Massive celebrations from him, the Sheffield United fans. As I say, he's had issues with injury. Ryan Brewster not been as prolific as we will have wanted to be, but this goal will mean so much to him, to the city, to Sheffield United. Obviously watching Chris Wilder as well, rightly so, celebrating with so much vigour when that whistle goes. And you're right, it wasn't a vintage performance from Sheffield United by any sense. Could have gone either way. Big performance from Michael Cooper in net as well to keep the ball out of the net early in the first half, and also just the moments in time where he's commanded his area when some of his defenders, quite frankly, looked a bit shaky, but he didn't. So the context of what this does, not just obviously for the City and winning the derby, but back into that automatic promotion race and the confidence that it will give Sheffield United going forwards with the games like Burnley to play. It's all in their hands, and yeah, it's a big, big moment for the Blades.
Is that Wednesday done now? I mean, they've got 8 games left. There's 6 points adrift of the top 6. Now, that's not an insurmountable gap, but the problem is they've got so much traffic between them and 6, because they're down in 12th after this result. Yeah,
there's a lot of traffic, and what I will say is a little bit further up, and I think I mentioned it, the likes of Blackburn, the likes of Middlesbrough, they don't look great. They've not been, Middlesbrough, for example, have been so up and down throughout the season. I think Blackburn now, I think they've only averaged a point per game since January, since the turn of the year. So, they're on the slide down, and that was before Eustace left and all that sort of happened. So, they're in an all right space. The big thing that will be the worry, and it's been the worry all season, is the home form for Sheffield Wednesday. So until they probably sort that out, it's going to be a real struggle to make those playoff places. It's not completely dead in the water, but it's going to be really tough.
They've got winnable games coming up here. They've got Hull, Oxford, Portsmouth all coming here, all in the bottom half of the table. Middlesbrough, one of the other sides, looking for playoff football to come here as well. Wednesday, they've got to go to Cardiff, to Blackburn, to Stoke, and then the last days at Watford. And they talked about Sheffield United having a decent run in the promotion battle. They've got 2 more matches against top 8 opposition. They go to Burnley. That will be a pivotal fixture. But as things stand right now, they are back 2 points clear of Scott Parker's men with 8 games to go. Hillsborough looking very different now, only 3-4 minutes after the full-time whistle. Lots of empty blue and white seats all around, except the top tier of the West Stand, where there is still limbs, plenty of applause going on, delighted songs from the Sheffield United supporters being drowned out by the soundtrack on the tannoy. But the celebrations will continue along. Every Sheffield United player inside that penalty area right now, looking up, applauding them for the support and basking in the moment, because it's still 13 years since they've lost the Steel City Derby.
Yeah, and look, this is the moments that you play football for, the ones at the start of the season where you look at it and think, right, when is this game going to be? And, Sheffield Wednesday fans will look at this, they'll be very disappointed and might say, they're over-celebrating. And we've heard that, not just in this fixture, in lots of fixtures. But these moments don't come along very often in football. And, from being a player myself, you almost gloss past these moments quite a lot. You're always thinking about the next game, the rest and recovery. So, I'm pleased for Sheffield United and the players that they're out taking this moment in, because they know, especially in the Championship, it comes round so quickly, everything can change. So yes, enjoy it, take this moment, because they know as soon as they come down that tunnel, back into the changing rooms, that it's back to work again. It's about the next game, it's about that automatic promotion and trying to find a way back to the Premier League.
I can't begin to answer any allegations of over-celebrating from a player's point of view, but from a supporter's point of view, you've got to celebrate moments like this. They've done the double over their city rivals. They've equalled a club record that stood for more than 130 years. They're joint top of the table again after a difficult fixture where they haven't played particularly well. If you don't enjoy days like this, you might as well pack up.
Exactly. Look, if the fans can't celebrate now, then when can they? In the Premier League, it was a tough old season, week in, week out, and the disappointment of not staying in the Premier League. So the fact that, they're here, they can celebrate this. Obviously, there's sort of new ownership within the club as well, and I think the excitement, if they get there, looking forward to the Premier League, it feels a little bit different. They feel like around the club and the fans that they can go up and they can compete. So yeah, taking the pictures now, all the media staff are down there. They're taking the pictures of the players in front of the fans, and yeah, it's a massive moment. But unfortunately, normally, as soon as you get down that tunnel, it's back to work again and back on the next game.
Yep, they'll be concentrating on Coventry at home next. But for now, they've got to bask in the glory of the moment. Richly deserved. 8 games to go. What a championship title race we have in store. Leeds 80 with a goal difference of 51. Sheffield United 80 with a goal difference of 25. Burnley 78 with a goal difference of 41. And the rest are just looking up and wondering which of those 3 they might be able to face in the playoffs. The Sheffield Wednesday, after another derby defeat and a 3rd home defeat in a row, a sense that this might not be their season after all.